Dr. Erasmus Ekban. Now, later, we'll turn our attention to Gombe State ahead of 2027 as the Tinubu-Shettima alliance comes under fire. My guest is the Director General, Tinubu-Shettima Ambassadors, Prince Oyerinde Oladele. Welcome to the program, everyone. Well, let's give you an update on the very sad development in Benue State. President Bola Tinubu has promised to address the killings in Benue State. The president issued directives to security and military agencies to secure Benue State. The president spoke through the secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, who is in Yelewata, where recent killings took place. He assured that the people of Benue State will not be left alone, as he pledged to do something about the situation. The president grieved with the government and people of Benue State. At least 151 persons were killed in Friday's attack at the Yelewata community in Goma local government area, which is 23 kilometers from Lafia, the state capital of Nasarawa State. President Bola Tinubu will travel to Benue State tomorrow as part of renewed efforts to foster peace and address the persistent conflict affecting communities in the state. Let's go on a short break. When we return, we'll get straight into our first conversation for tonight. Stay with us.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Since assuming office, Governor Basio Otu says he has spearheaded a dynamic infrastructure transformation across River State. In a sweeping effort covering all 18 local government areas, the administration says it has undertaken major road construction and rehabilitation of various projects. Now, tonight, the Commissioner for Information Cross River State, Dr. Erasmus Ekban, joins me as we assess Governor Otu's two-year scorecard. Good evening, Commissioner. Welcome to Politics Tonight.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you so very much.
So this administration has been quoted as saying it is rebuilding Cross River State. What does that mean?
Thank you so very much. First of all, I want to express my heartfelt condolence to the people of Benue State over the killings that, had happened. That's very tragic, and as a state, Cross River State, we send our heartfelt condolence to the people of Benue State on that very ugly incident. Yeah, so back to the topic. Cross River State so far 2 years under the leadership of His Excellency Senator Prince Basio Otu have done so very well. And honestly, it was just, he actually came at the time God needed someone as him to rule Cross River State. We first started with the economic summit, trying to see what we need as a state, knowing that the soils are very fertile, we have a very good landmass. At the same time, we needed investors to come back to Cross River State and invest. And then the government of the day actually did a soil test, soil mapping to check if the soils are okay to take every crop. We discovered that most crop plants we thought could thrive in the central and northern senatorial district can actually also do well in the south. So basically what I'm trying to say is that it was just a very holistic check of the state, as in how and where we're going to start from, where we came from and all that. So for agricultural, we have had a lot of very positive, revolutionary agricultural policies and programs. We are doing a lot of farm checks. We are doing a lot of getting a lot of farmlands cleared and prepared for farming. We are introducing new crops that had never been introduced in Cross River State for a very long time. We're talking about the wheat, the cocoa. We know how well cocoa cocoa has been in Cross River State. The coffee has never been there. We're introducing coffee.
Dr. Rasmus, I will get to that part.
The whole Cross River State.
I will get to, some of the things you've done. I will get to, talk to you about some of the things you've done. But I want to stay on the word rebuilding, because the word rebuilding means that something has been destroyed. And so there's an effort to rebuild. Is that to say that this administration met nothing on ground when you took over?
No, not at all. In every society, you have to actually rebuild. You have to actually consolidate on your past gains. The administration actually came to consolidate on, what the former administration had done, to carry on not bringing in new projects. And we're doing well on that. And of course, it's not as if every other administration has not done well. The Donald Duke administration had done well in its own part, tearing Cross River State, Calabar, introducing the carnival, bringing Calabar to limelight. And of course, the Leli Muka administration did so very well in its own take by opening up the local government infrastructures, as in the rural roads and all that, and some kind of building. And then, of course, the Benue administration came and tried to industrialize Cross River State. So in every administration, I think they've done well. But I think the best for me is here now where we are, because His Excellency Senator Prince Basedodo has actually come to consolidate and actually work on the gains on his previous administrations. We're almost reviving almost all the infrastructures and the big, like what we had promised to give to the people. We felt and thought tax people's monies should not be wasted. We are recovering our farms, our assets, we are recovering everything. We are rebuilding the whole state as I speak. Almost all edifices, the governor's office, the library is back to life after decades of not being in function. A lot of lodges, ministries have been renovated. We have done up to 60 kilometers of roads, and of course we are working on about 120 kilometers ongoing as I speak. We have repaired and fixed a lot of drainages, a lot of areas where we had a lot of environmental issue where we have done desertification, and then of course for solar lights we have done a lot of solar light, repair a lot of transformers, upgraded them in areas where they have never been lights for years and all that. The areas of Odukpani, some local government in Bekwara, and of course in Akpabuyo. So we just came for a total rebate. Even if you live in your house, at some point you definitely have to renovate your house. That's what we're doing today. If you go to the governor's office today, it's built, it's totally renovated. It's like a brand new edifice. The library, the same thing. Even the Chronicle that has been dead for ages, it's almost wearing a new look as I speak. A lot of other edifices in Cross River State. Go even to the central. We have done internal roads in Ikom and the same time Obudu, roundabouts and all that. Total overhauling. Even the cargo airport, where we met some point at about 60%, His Excellency had put some effort there. We're moving it close to 80%, getting new planes, to add up with the few we have and all that. So I think His Excellency, the administration of Senator Prince Basedodo has actually touched on every sector you would think about it. He has done well in almost every sector. So it's not as if...
And we will look at some of those sectors in just a moment. Dr. Rasmus, just a minute. We will look at some of those sectors in just a moment. But for me, it's really about the people of Cross River State. And again, not just them. These are very difficult times for Nigerians, especially in terms of the economy. No matter what happens, what they want to see beyond infrastructure and all of that is food on their table. What is the governor doing in terms of palliative and also to ensure that the people of Cross River State are empowered?
Okay, thank you so very much. So when you look at palliatives, they are not permanent. They are not permanent measures to solve issues of hunger and all that. We have built a lot of farm roads. We have done a lot of farm policies programs that would actually enhance most of our farmers. We have given out tractors to farmers to be able to enhance, given them a very subsidized rate for them to be able to enhance their farm produce. For Cross River State, we do well in agriculture. We have our farmers in the central that are into cocoa, plantation, plantain, and other things that are doing far better than the white-collar job. So what are we doing as a state? We're trying to, encourage them with some soft loans, grants, and all that, open up the farm roads, and of course, tear up many other, build farm cocoa estates and all that, and be able to actually hand it over to these persons. And for palliatives, we have done a lot of palliatives. You saw the Office of Her Excellency has done a lot. She has looked into homegrown feeding. As I speak to you, there's a medical outreach she's doing. We have done canoes to riverine areas. We have supplied through NGKs. We have done more than hundreds of canoes to individuals living in the riverine areas for them to be able to to enhance their fishing activities and all that. A lot of many other palliatives. We had His Excellency coming on board, looking at the pensioners and all that, had been able to release a 10 billion naira that was able to pay grants for the aged that since 2014 pensions gratuities were not paid, and that is opening, and many other things we're doing. So there are a lot of for us in Cross River State, you see what we do. Everybody's happy. The roads are still used by the very poor people. The lights are still used by poor people. Power is very important. Once you have power, it means that you can actually avoid buying fuel. You save for fuel. You'll be able to employ manpower and all that. So these are things even the commoners are seeing with themselves and are understanding that, yes, the government of the day is working and is thriving very well. Many other incentives.
And you were speaking to the issue of IGRO just before I butted in. We know the Cross River State lost a significant 76 oil wells to Akwa Ibom State in a controversy. What are you then doing again to improve your IGRO and also diversify the economy of Cross River State?
Thank you so very much. For the 76 oil wells, by the grace of God, I think that matter right now is on standstill because we are Cross River State and we're surrounded by the river. I don't think it's really possible for us to think that we don't have oil wells. So I think that matter for now is on standstill. While we're working on it by the grace of God, I believe by the grace of God, because that state is better than Jesus Christ, we're going to get our wells back. We are still looking at other aspect of trying to diversify through the agriculture. Our IGR, we came with so much transparency. The government of Senator President is very transparent. Our IGR are so improved. We're doing about a 20 billion thereabout. We met about the 20 billion for 2022. And then, of course, it took up to about 30.8 billion. And as I speak, at the end of 2024, we're doing 47.7 billion naira IGR. What does this tell you? So much confidence has been, brought back to the people. The administration has given people hope. As I speak with you, taxpayers have increased. People actually willingly go and pay their tax. And of course, we do a lot of other. We get some of our IGR still from our forests. We have very thick forests. We have looked for laws that will cut down the anti-logging issues. At the same time, we've been able to recover some of our lost assets at very good gains, and at the same time, given some of them out at the very profitable, measures that would actually benefit the state. So I think for IGRO, we are doing very, very well. We have automated all our data and everything, and I mean, it's just coming in through one system. We don't have leakages anymore. So the government is it's really a government that, by the grace of God, we are looking at 2-3 years for Cross River State. It's going to be something else because, as I speak, we actually engage in the geophysical technical survey of the deep sea port, and we are almost, rounding that up. And of course, Cross River State was seen as that state, one of the only state in the South that Mr. President graciously approved for the SAP program, the Special Agro-Processing Program, where the Vice President represented Mr. President and then came to do the program breaking and all that. Definitely, you know about the Lagos Calabar coastal highway. That would also help us, assist us get most of our food products out and make a lot of our activities and businesses what we're trying to do get out of the state at ease.
I heard you say that you are going to recover the oil wells. Is that to say that the efforts are ongoing to recover them?
Yeah. By the grace of God, like I said, it's God. You'll get to hear that very soon. We are very positive that we will recover our oil wells back by the grace of God. Yes, I'm very positive. Is
that through political or legal means?
No. Through the natural truth. We belong to God. We are just very natural people, not through political. But we expect that we beg the federal government or wherever the issues are to actually come and really relook at it. The state is named Cross River State. Where are these oil wells found? You understand? And as I speak right now, I think there's a comma to it, there's a clause to it, where most of those, I think that we're receiving those accrued measures for the oil wells have actually been put on hold. We're going to revisit that matter.
All right, so I also wanted to talk to you about tourism, because Cross River State prides itself as a tourism destination in Africa. But I wanted to find out what is happening to Obudukato Ranch, where we used to have I think it was International Mountain Race, and then as well as Tinapa. It seems to have deteriorated, and no government in Rivers State has made any effort to resuscitate them.
Yeah, thank you. For Tinapa, of course, it was under the look and hold of APCOM, and as I speak to you now, we have gotten back our Tinapa to ourselves. We are trying to actually look at what's befitting to put in for Tinapa. For the Obudukato Ranch, work is ongoing. We are returning back the mountain race. Obudukato Ranch is functioning very well. Of course, we're blessed to have one of those 8 wonders of the world. And of course, His Excellency and the administration of Senator Prince Basedodo is not putting that to rest. So in the Obudukato Ranch, we have work ongoing to, kind of renovate, put the place in a good shape. At the same time, we're returning, bringing back the mountain race. Of course, for Cross River State tourism, we run it as a country. For us, the big one, the Calabar Carnival, it's like, how would I put it, like one of the best products out of the Africa. It has one of the longest routes in the world and one of the best so far. So we're actually improving by the day. We got in when it was 6 months. At the same time, we had a wonderful one. The one of last year was beautiful. And as I speak with you, some few weeks back here in Abuja, we actually launched a team for this year's carnival, which of course we are bringing in more more groups and then introducing more bands, and then at the same time bringing up the mountain race and all that. Mind you, in this administration, we have also introduced carnivals in the 3 senatorial districts because we want the people from the central and not to actually stay where they are and still enjoy this carnival, not coming all the way some hours down to Calabar to enjoy it. That was introduced by this same administration. So I think for tourism, it's one of our biggest sell so far, and we're doing our best to sustain and maintain it and even make it bigger.
There have been commendations for this administration in terms of some of the things it has done in Cross River, but it has also gone without criticisms. There are reports that the government uses cyberbullying as a strategic tool for silencing dissenting voices in the state. Are you adverse to this criticism? Are you aware of them?
No, I'm not aware at all. It's strange, very strange.
But how will you respond to them? Because a particular name was mentioned after criticizing the state government, that a journalist, and that he was bullied, online. And some have said it was from this state government, and that he's not the only person who has had to suffer that kind of fate.
No, honestly, to my greatest surprise, it's strange to me. I've not heard that. I would even rather tell you that from this very overzealous journalist, I've really been bullied myself wrongly for, maybe just trying to do the right thing. So I can, if you can even just throw more light, maybe I'll be able to understand that. But let me make you understand too that we, as journalists, as journalists, everybody is, as it is now, there's the Facebook, there's the WhatsApp, people just come up with breaking news and things. The administration of Senator Prince Basedodo, it's one of the best, humane, very down-to-earth administration, where everybody, we do media palace, where at some point His Excellency would even ask for more time for journalists to actually air their mind and speak their mind and say what they want to say. You understand? So I have never really, we don't have that. It's strange. I'm hearing it for the first time. I don't know how that reportage came, but I think we have been very friendly with our journalists. I keep very open doors for them. And at some point we do, quarterly meetings and all that, compare notes.
So you're not aware of the case of one Oga Emmanuel Oko?
That was, give me the case again when they were supposed to do a riot or so. They were supposed to do a demonstration during, hello?
Go ahead, I'm listening to you. He's from your state, and they said he was cyberbullied because he had published something against the government. And it went online. I'm asking you if that was actually, trying to get your side. If you're aware of that story and then get your side of the story. No, I'm not. All right, so let's talk about, again, another criticism. We saw what played out in Cross River over the commissioning of projects in Calabar South local government. There's been some confusion as to whether the project was facilitated by the NDDC or the Cross River State government. Which is it, and what exactly played out?
Okay, thank you so very much, and this is very important for us to hear. To start with, are we in support of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Of course, he's our father. We had done the first time. We're going to give him more vote this time around. We are diehard Mr. President. And of course, coming back, do we really need NDDC projects in our states? We love them, we want them, because Cross River State, I think to some extent, both not for His Excellency Prince Otu trying to revive the state, we are really so backward. So of course, we welcome them all wholeheartedly. But I think what played out that Friday, I think so, was just something of misunderstanding, because there were a lot of stories concerning the NDDC. A letter was written to the government for commissioning of the NDDC building, and then that was taken. But in the mix of it, I think they had actually advanced to mistake there was actually would have been from the contractors from NDDC, and then of course the state contractors, because what really happened was in the first instance where they wanted to commission the road, NDDC had done a road somewhere in Idan, and of course it's noted as NDDC, but of course the council chairman that is from that locality was not even aware that NDDC, such like the minister for regional development, was coming to his state as Cross River State, and even coming to his local government, where he would have even actually offered some light reception for him and all that. And there was a question mark on that. There was even another issue of the youth coming out to revolt. The name of that street was actually renamed. Obviously, when names are renamed, I think it goes through either the local government or the state governor. It must be approved and all that. That the present chairman then hadn't seen that, and I'm not seeing any notice to that. But of course, His Excellency in his wisdom has called him up to allow that happen. And then going back to Inyangasang, a community called Inyangasang, this community actually have more than 10 adjoining roads. I was there personally yesterday. And I think the confusion here was here. The government of Cross River State during the Senator Leah Limoke's administration has awarded a particular road, about a 3-kilometer, 2.8-kilometer road, to a contractor, escort contractor then. And then at some point, they walked the road, the pavement, the drainage, everything was done. And then, of course, they did the stone base, waiting for the alpha thing and all that. Of course, not only that, they had done some, how they call it, some gulch, some kind of valley, some drainages around, and then, finish work and all that. I went there myself yesterday. And, of course, it's not just that road. There are a lot of other adjoining roads. So what the state government did here, at some point, that road was now abandoned on stone base. But of course, after some years, the stone base will start turning into some potholes and all that. So when the government of Senator Prince Bassett come on board, a health center was actually commissioned in Yangasang, that same area. When His Excellency went there, he saw the nature of the road. A lot of people, even the secretary of their clan, cried to him and prayed and asked that road should be done. Immediately, His Excellency, the Commissioner for Work, stepped into action, sorted the last contractor that was actually had some issues with the road that stopped on stone base. And then, of course, awarded the road to a new contractor, whom I saw on ground that yesterday. So my confusion was this. Now, for that road, NDDC had come to alpha the road, but the road actually belongs to the state government. So what happened was that at the point of putting that road as one of their projects, the state government refused, through the Commission of Works, that it wasn't theirs, is the state government's own. Just like building a house on someone's land. Of course, the law, it's going to be your own if it goes bad. But that's not the issue, though they didn't commission that. I went ahead to actually call for a press conference where we have the journalists, and we have a rep from NDDC, from Cross River State, to come and explain to us, and of course the Commissioner for Works. They did their explanation, and then it was just as I speak. And then the rep for NDDC explained clearly that Yangasang was never in their budget. Of course, he had their budget in their hands. Of course, we are aware that NDDC can go for intervention works, but then there would have been synergy, some talk. There was breach of communication. There was something that was not right about it. And at some point, it wallowed up to that. But I want to say that most of our overzealous media aides blew it out of proportion. Some start comparing issues, some start saying a lot of things. In short, even myself, I was so abused on. I don't even understand, what I did and all that. So the truth about it is, it's most of these we have to be a bit professional. Most of the issues we have in our states, in various states and all that, It's caused by some overzealous media
so,
aids.
Dr.
And I want to appeal that, honestly, our
Dr. Erasmus, I have to put you on hold.
Yes.
I have to put you on hold. We're going to come back to you, but I need to take a break, and then we'll come back to you so you can continue your thought on that matter. All right, we're going to take a break now on Politics Tonight. We're also signing up from TVC News. You can continue to watch on YouTube and Ofcom. We'll be right back, everyone. Developmental strides, or all the developmental strides of the Governor Bassey Otu in Cross River State, assessing his 2 years in office. Thank you so much for staying with us, Dr. Erasmus.
Thank you so very much.
Right, so just before that break, we were speaking to the controversy around the projects commissioned by the NDDC in Cross River State. Please finish your thought on that.
Okay, so I think, like I said, it was just a breach of communication, and His Excellency, in his wisdom, just like a thoroughbred, has actually, constituted Justice Emilia Ibok very apt justice of the, court and all that. So I think they will actually come out with a true position of how it is. But like I told you, I tried to make some little effort by getting the representative of the NDC to explain to us, and of course the Commissioner for Works, where it was publicly, spoken, where the NDC leader, Senator Prince Bassey Otu, remains our leader, and of course he's giving us so much, fatherly love. Of course, almost every other person had queued behind him, and they're totally loyal to him as in helping him move the state forward. That's what
I have 3 minutes left, Dr. Erasmus, and I just wanted to ask you, you still have about 2 years to go in this tenure. That's if the governor decides to run again, but what's your roadmap for sustainable development in Cross River State for the next 2 years?
When you look at the policies and programs on ground for Cross River State, you would gladly wish that he runs again, of which I personally, the states under the offices of our commissioners, had endorsed him for second year. We pray for continuity in Cross River State. That has been our problem. We want somebody who would actually continue what he's doing. He has started some agricultural programs. I told you they're revolutionary, that would actually materialize after a period. We don't expect somebody else to, break the chain. So we're actually supporting him for a second term. All
right, thank you so much for your time. Pleasure having you on. Commissioner for Information in Cross River State, Dr. Erasmus Ekpang.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, we'll turn attention now to other stories. There is another development in politics in Nigeria, but we are going to go on a short break. When we return, we'll turn our attention to politics. Stay with us. And welcome back, everyone. The Northeast stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress at a meeting over the weekend in Gombe State endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima for re-election in 2027. Now, according to reports and videos that surfaced, the endorsement was not unanimous, as the APC National Vice Chairman Northeast, Mustafa Salihu, refused to endorse Shettima alongside the president, a development that led to a rowdy session during the meeting. There had been questions over Shettima's fate since party leaders endorsed Tinubu as sole candidate for the 2027 presidential election during the APC National Summit held at the presidential villa in Abuja last month. Now, this has fueled speculations that Tinubu might not run with Shettima in 2027. But to speak more on this and perhaps clear the air tonight is the Director General Tinubu Shettima Ambassadors, Prince Oyerinde Oladele. He joins me from our Abuja studio. Good evening to you and welcome.
I saw that as a display of loyalty, by the people of the Northeast who believe in Tinubu and who believe in Shettima. It is a display of loyalty, and which I believe that loyalty is what the presidents always appreciate in politics. So it is a display of loyalty to the vice president and to the president, likewise to the party, the All Progressive Congress.
And we understand that, yes, it led to a rowdy session, but some have said that the a national vice chairman, Northeast, is believed to have done it intentionally, that perhaps he was feeding into the zonal sentiment about the retention of the vice president. How do you also assess that?
Well, the truth is that for anybody to endorse Tinubu without Shettima is more or less like like someone that is playing a politics of hypocrites, because there is no how of Obasanjo. Atiku was endorsed alongside with the president, despite the fact that Atiku was not even loyal to the then president, Olusegun Obasanjo. He was unanimously endorsed by the Northeast PDP members, and individual support group endorsed the vice president along with the president. Likewise, during the re-election of Goodluck Jonathan in 2011, with Namade Sambo, he was unanimously endorsed, alongside with the president. So I don't see the reason why anybody will be endorsing Tinubu without Shettima. It was done during Osinbajo, and all those past presidents supported their vice president for re-election. And I know that such rejection cannot come from Tinubu. So if there is anybody endorsing Tinubu without Shettima, the person is just playing politics, playing arithmetics, mathematics of politics.
Mr. Yerinde,
using
you're
Shettima
speaking
as the
so
almighty formula.
In the party.
Well, I believe that is just a speculation, because just like I know up to date, the relationship between the president and the vice president are cordial, and the loyalty of the vice president to the president he was recently considered as the vice presidential candidate of Asiwaju. Then we met with him few weeks after the president visited the National Assembly. We were the National Assembly Progressive Legislative Head then. So we visited the vice presidential candidates, Senator Kashim Shettima, in his office. And we discussed our intention, to support the candidacy of the president and the vice president, because they are products of National Assembly. Both of them are former senators. So we told him, because our group then was Shettima ambassadors. And he told us plainly that that support group is unique, but the support group cannot stand without the name of his boss, that we should go and change it to Tinubu Shettima Ambassadors. So that was when we changed the name of the group from Shettima Ambassadors to Tinubu Shettima Ambassadors. And since then, the vice president has been 100% loyal to the president. So if the national chairman is now playing politics by not mentioning Shettima as the vice presidential, the running mate of Tinubu in 2027, I think that is just a politics, which I believe that a well-meaning Nigerian should not even accept that. And even the Northeast politicians, the Northeast party members, the progressive precisely, should not accept that, because there are some people trying to play politics with that so that they can have an avenue to criticize the president during when the election campaign started. So I believe that it is just a game. They may say that maybe it was a mistake by the national chairman not to mention the vice president, but I believe that it may be some politics around it. But
Mr. Ladele, if I may quickly come in here.
The governor of Gombe State and the governor of Yobe State should visit the president and let him know that this is their vice presidential candidate in 2027.
I will get to the governors in just a moment, because they are also, whilst the governors may have endorsed him, we're also getting some reports from that angle. But I want to stay on the issue you raised about loyalty. Loyalty is one factor to consider when you're picking a deputy or a deputy governor, a vice president. But again, you also want to look at the political angle of it, somebody who can bring in the numbers to what you already have. Those who are opposed to the VP Shetima's retention as vice president or vice presidential running mates to President Tinubu in 2027, they are basing their position on the Muslim ticket. They say that it was a problem in 2023, even though the president went on to win that election. Is that ticket likely to pose a challenge in 2027, considering the mood of the nation?
Well, the Muslim ticket of 18 was a case study in 2023. And all the Christian community now in Nigeria discovered that it is just a politics. That the candidacy, the religion of each candidate and the vice president and the presidential candidate does not determine the situation of the country. So even most Christians that criticize Shetima candidacy as the vice president in 2023 are even regretting it now, because what is going on right now is far beyond expectation. There is no religion. There is nobody playing religion. The president is not playing religion with his governors. Likewise, the vice president. You can see even in Kaduna State, the southern Kaduna, where we have most issues of religion crisis. Nothing is more happening there. It was happening when the former governor was there, El-Rufai. But currently now, the governor has stabilized everything. And if you are talking about the population or someone that can bring votes, in the Northeast geopolitical zone, in 2023 presidential election, it is only Benue State, where Senator Kashim Shettima came from, that deliver votes for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The other three states like Adamawa, Bauchi, and Taraba State are opposition states up to date. The Gombe State and Yobe states that are progressive failed to deliver to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023. It is only Borno State that deliver that vote. So if you are not saying that Shetima should not be considered as the vice presidential candidate to the president in 2027, it's more or less as if we are trying to play politics that will make us lose more votes, because there are many people who supported the president basically because of the vice president. And in Borno State today, all the politicians there, including the opposition, are fully in support of Asiwaju, are fully in support of Shetima. So if there is anybody playing politics, maybe from the Northwest geopolitical zone, I believe they should play that politics wisely. Because most of the people that are even standing against Shetima now are people that are not ready to support Asiwaju in 2027. And they are trying to use that as a bait, as a case study, to have a point against the president when they fail to deliver their state. So I believe that the governor of Borno State, the governor of Gombe State, and that of Yobe State need to visit the president in support of Shetima as the vice president of the nation in 2027 presidential election.
There are also those who, within that region or that zone, say the vice president has failed to speak up when it mattered the most at very critical times. So what's your assessment of the vice president and how he has continued to relate with the Northeast?
Well, the Northeast of a thing, just like I said, many people, when election is fast approaching like this, many people will be playing politics, even with the life of the citizens. And when you observe that, the vice president may have his own reason why he decided not to talk, because there is division of labor in governance. He is the vice president, and he's not in charge to talk about maybe if there is insecurity in Borno State, if there is insecurity in Taraba State or any other Northeast state. It is the National Security Advisor that's supposed to rise and take action when necessary. And the governors of those states, they are the one in charge that's supposed to take action. It's not the vice president. The vice president is more or less an assistant to the president when need be. It is only when the president asks him to talk or to take action, that is when he needs to take action when necessary. And you have been seeing him moving here and there, representing the president north and south. East and West, representing the president wisely and reasonably. So if the president doesn't assign him to take certain action, you cannot see him, doing that, because those people that are in charge that are supposed to take action, we see it as if is taking their responsibility. So I don't see any reason why the vice president should act when his principal doesn't ask him to take action.
Taking action is one thing. Helping to galvanize the necessary resources for certain things to be done in the region is another thing. And then also speaking up to the issues is also another thing. Has he done that successfully well?
I think the president is, the vice president is truly and 100% with his governor. And is relating with all the other governors in that region, most especially the progressive. And as a vice president, there is no need for him to take sentiment, by acting or relating with only the progressive governor in that region. He is relating properly well with all the 6 governors and the citizens of the Northeast geopolitical zone. But like I said, there is limitation in taking action in governance, because there are people who are in charge of a particular activities, and if you are taking action in that regard, they will see you as if you are taking their responsibility. So if only when the president asks him to take action or to do certain things, just like what happened in Niger State, you can see him there, representing the president. That's just a message from the president. He cannot go or take action without the directive of the president. So I think the vice president is doing well in his region and in the country. But what I will say is that all other states where leaders, like even the NSA in Adamawa State, where they came from, they should try and make sure that they speak, in masses, with their votes during the election of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. It is not about endorsement. And it is not proper for anybody or group of people or support group to even, endorse the president without the vice president. By doing that,
Mr. Ladele, does this particular
are using endorsement, as a politics to buy the mind of the president.
All right, Mr. Ladele, just a minute. Does this particular incident in Gombe State signal deeper fractures within the APC ahead of the 2027 general elections, especially in the Northeast? Should the vice president be concerned?
What was the incident, please?
The endorsement crisis, or controversy rather, in Gombe. Does this signal deeper fractures within the APC?
Just like I said, I don't see anything wrong in that, because it was a display of loyalty to the vice president, in which the president always believed in loyalty. So those people that play that politics only do that to buy the mind of the president. And there is nothing to be fair about, because the opposition are only looking for ways, to fight the ruling party, to criticize the ruling party. Misunderstanding is inevitable in politics. We cannot avoid misunderstanding. Even in our respective family, we have issues with our wives, our husband, our children, our family, friends. We do fight, because it is inevitable. So in politics, we cannot do without that. There must be crisis, there must be disagreements, but those people that raise alarm that no Shetima, no APC in Northeast, it is just a display of loyalty to the party, to the president, and to the vice president, and nothing should be, should be tagged along with it. So I just believe that the stakeholders,
but those people are also,
Mr. Ladele,
Oladele rather, those people are also threatening to defect if, come 2027, Shetima is not on the ticket as the vice presidential candidate. How should this be addressed within the APC?
Well, my advice to the APC is that any political leader, any group of people, either the National Assembly, the party national, or any support group that wants to endorse Tinubu now, should endorse the president and the vice president. And if the president decided not to consider Shetima as his running mate again, he will make it known to the party, he will make it known to our leaders across the nation, and there is no issue with that. But endorsing Tinubu without Shettima is more or less like playing politics with the candidacy of the president. So I don't see the reason why anybody should, should endorse Tinubu without Shettima. And in the northeast geopolitical zone, most leaders that are from like states like Adamawa, like Bauchi, like Taraba, that are opposition, what are they doing in their respective states to bring more people back to the fold for Tinubu Shettima? They shouldn't look at the situation whereby the vice president should be like an edict to them, because most people that are saying that they are going to defect, it is more or less like, it's not a threat, but it is a sign of loyalty to the party and to the vice president, likewise the president. There is nobody that is going to defect. But I can tell you that it is likely to reduce the votes from the northeast geopolitical zone. So because I don't see any reason why the vice president, Senator Kashim Shettima, will be removed as the vice presidential candidate in 2027. Because if Tinubu can win election conducted by Buhari in 2023, there is no reason why Tinubu will not win this forthcoming election in 2027. Everything is clear now. The Southwest are in support of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
We do have to leave it there.
Are fully in support. Likewise, the Southeast, we have majority there now.
We have to leave it there, Mr.
Yerinde is fully in support.
That's where
the Northwest are fully in support as well.
That's where we have to leave it.
So there's no reason whereby somebody will be thinking that maybe because there are a lot of votes in the Northwest, so they want to consider someone from the Northwest. No.
Thank you for your time, Director General, Tinubu Shettima Ambassadors, Oyerinde Oladile. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, that marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource person is theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 1 a.m. Also, get in touch with us on our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News NG. And use the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube, TVC News Nigeria. I am Precious Amayu. Thanks for watching.